All right, so our next assignment after the hologram one is going to be a thing called parallax. And you've seen it before. It's basically this effect that happens as items are in 3D space, and as we're moving our camera, as we're moving our head, we see that these things are going to move differently. The reason that that last video worked, where that guy was able to see behind those different things, was because the camera shows different items at different depths differently. So we were seeing the parallax between all the targets. So this is a good example of what sort of kind of we're going to be doing. All right, now inside the video, there's a mixture of things. We're not going to be doing everything that's inside there. We're going to focus on basically just a zooming in shot or a pulling out shot to show parallax between different items. So if I go to this scene here, and we just watch how the camera moves out, okay, you can see how all these items are moving differently. The stuff back there, which initially seemed like it was moving a lot, is moving a lot less because it's further away. Also pay attention to how items are stacked. Think of your initial photography classes where they talked about you have the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. You also have these different levels between all of those things. It's not just like these three areas. In here, we have this foreground element, these two guys on the horses, and then this plot of land. This way back there, probably we can consider that the middle ground. And then even further back than that, we would have the background there. Okay? And then we have this. Now each of these pieces, I don't know exactly how they did. I'm sure there's a video up there somewhere that shows breakdowns. But this is essentially a still image. Okay? That's a picture of ground, a picture of trees. Those two things are just sitting in the same exact relative spot. And as the camera zooms out, we're not any wiser to know that it actually has depth to it, because it doesn't. It's simply a flat plane. If you stack enough flat planes together, you will get this idea of parallax and this idea of depth inside of your scenes. Each one of these things, this little plot of land, another tree, this little plot of land, another tree, this little plot of land, another tree, each of those can be stacked in a way that it makes it appear to be like an actual scene when it's not. Okay? Even this wall, that wall is just another element. This bush is another element. Oops, that went too fast. There we go. This structure here is just another element. That there is another element. Now we're getting into a little bit more of the 3D work. You can see how it kind of like spins around a little bit, especially when we get to the motorcycle. And then when we get to this guy, that's definitely, you know, more of a 3D look to it, okay? So we'll be creating basically just a pull-out shot to show parallax inside of a scene. So for this project, the part that you can start working on, you don't have to go any further than this for the planning, is to go through and find an environment that you will rebuild in Illustrator, okay? You want to find something with a lot of detail and a lot of depth, okay? And a lot of opportunity to travel inside the scene, right? So something like this, as I'm thinking about it, I would plan this thing out. Think about like the ground is being a flat plane, and then this little piece of land here is just like this, just like a flat card that's showing that. And then this one is another flat card. And then this tree is another flat card. All these things are just flat cards inside here. My camera could be back here, and I'm basically just like moving out, and we're seeing here's trees, here's these flat platforms, and we just move straight back out of there. Okay? Here's another, could be a good scene, lots of trees, land, these little valley areas or dips. This is an animated GIF, yeah. How is it moving? I'm going insane. Here could be another good one. Here could be another good one. Okay, so try to find an image that you would want to use. Something like this might not be the best image to use if you can't get the right perspective on those things. So like these boats are at like a 45-degree angle. If you draw them and you put them on a flat plane, it's going to look like weird because you're moving this way and the cameras should see the boats flat, but they're kind of at an angle. But you can definitely try that kind of stuff. Some of these are just going to be too simple. Movie environment is a good thing to search. I want to see if I can find one that's maybe too simple. Nope, these are all coming up really good. Oh, there we go. Right, so something like this. It's a girl, it's that, and then it's a desert, and there's really nothing there. You can definitely add to this stuff, but really try to find a good scene from a movie. If you can tie these things to movies, people are more likely to come to your site because they're looking for that movie. Otherwise, they wouldn't search specifically for parallax and environment kind of things. But if you said I had, whatever this is that, what's that movie? Oh, Hall of Heroism? I don't know what that is. Never mind. So if you had Hall of Heroism and people look that up, then obviously that could be something that people would find. Okay. So find a good still image of a movie. Next week I'll get into the actual like what's the next step after we have this thing. Okay. And then think about how your camera is going to move too. Some of these things you'll find we can also animate. So if you had something like these trees and you wanted the trees to kind of like rustle a little bit or move or sway, you can do that as well. If you wanted the rocks to fall, you could do that too, okay? Something like this could be good. It's just a matter of what you're able to lock in. This is not good because there's not a whole lot of land there. Having land really helps. Okay, and I would avoid a lot of characters too because then people want them to move. Cool. All right, questions on what to do starting the next assignment? Cool.